Picture this. You've just spent 20 minutes turning Los Santos into absolute chaos. Civilians are running, cars are exploding, and the police are everywhere. Then the next mission begins, and Michael calmly lectures Trevor about morality, acting like nothing happened. The game watched everything you did, yet the story behaves as if it never happened. That's a problem GTA has had for over 20 years. Game designers call it ludonarrative dissonance, the disconnect between what the story tells you and what your gameplay actually says. GTA has always given players complete freedom to create chaos, but its world rarely remembers any of it. Now compare that to something hidden inside the leaked GTA 6 development footage. Jason robs a liquor store in the Leonida wetlands. Days later, in a completely different location, an NPC references that exact robbery. Not generic dialogue about crime, but specific details, the location, the weapon, even the fact that Jason wasn't wearing a mask. If that system works the way it appears to, Rockstar may have solved one of the biggest design problems in open-world gaming. And the surprising part? They've barely talked about it. Instead of focusing on graphics or map size, Rockstar seems to have spent years building systems that allow the world to remember what you've done. Today we're breaking down the evidence behind those systems, why previous GTA games couldn't achieve them, and why this could completely change how open-world games are designed. Before we can understand why this matters, we need to understand why every previous GTA struggled with the same problem. Since GTA 3, Rockstar has created incredibly believable cities. But beneath that realism, the world has always been built around short-term memory. NPCs forget you. Police reset. Story missions ignore your behavior. No matter how chaotic your gameplay becomes, the narrative continues exactly the same. GTA 4 is probably the clearest example. Niko Bellic constantly talks about escaping violence and leaving his past behind. Yet the game lets you destroy entire neighborhoods, only for Niko to appear perfectly normal in the next cutscene. GTA 5 pushed that disconnect even further. Trevor discusses his relationship with violence, Michael worries about his family's future, and Franklin tries to become a better man. Meanwhile, the player can spend hours causing destruction without the game acknowledging any of it. Story and gameplay exist almost like two completely separate worlds. Other developers tried solving this. Dishonored introduced a chaos system. Fallout experimented with karma. Red Dead Redemption 2 built an honor mechanic that changed how characters reacted to Arthur Morgan. Each system improved immersion, but they still simplified your behavior into a handful of variables: good, bad, high honor, or low honor. Real people aren't remembered that way, and neither are real criminals. The challenge has always been technical. Tracking thousands of player actions across dozens of hours while allowing the entire world to react dynamically requires enormous processing power, huge amounts of memory, and AI systems that older hardware simply couldn't support. The ambition existed, the technology didn't. That brings us to GTA 6. Everything appears to begin with what Rockstar's patent describes as a persistent world memory system. Think of it as the game keeping a detailed criminal record of everything you do, not just whether you committed a crime, but how you committed it, where it happened, which weapon you used, who witnessed it, whether you wore a disguise, and how serious the event actually was. Instead of disappearing after a mission ends, these events become permanent pieces of information that the game can reference later. The leaked gameplay gives us a fascinating example. Jason robs a liquor store early in the footage. Nearly an hour later, while speaking with someone in Vice Beach, that robbery comes back into the conversation. The NPC isn't standing near the robbery, and there's no scripted cutscene connecting the two events. Instead, it looks as though the game stored that crime, remembered it, and later surfaced it through normal conversation. If that's what's actually happening, it's fundamentally different from how previous GTA games worked. According to Rockstar's patent, important actions receive memory tags containing information like location, severity, timestamps, and event type. Whenever you interact with an NPC, the game checks those stored events and decides what that character realistically knows. A close associate might know every detail. A witness remembers exactly what happened. Someone across the city may have only heard rumors. That's not simply a wanted system. It's a living reputation system built around memory instead of scripted events. But memory alone isn't enough. Remembering what happened is only useful if the world can actually respond to it. That's where GTA 6 appears to make its biggest leap. According to Rockstar's development material, the game uses something called conditional content nodes. Instead of every player experiencing the same conversations, encounters, and mission dialogue, these moments can change depending on what the game remembers about you. Think about how previous GTA games worked. You could rob 50 stores before starting a mission, yet the shopkeeper inside would greet you exactly the same as every other player. The world had no memory of your behavior. Now imagine something different. You walk into a convenience store after becoming known for violent robberies. The cashier hesitates before speaking. He looks nervous. Maybe he quietly reaches for a panic button before you even pull out a weapon. Another player who never committed those crimes experiences that exact same store completely differently. The mission hasn't changed. The location hasn't changed. You changed the outcome. That is a massive shift in open-world design. Instead of forcing every player through identical experiences, Rockstar appears to be creating a world that gradually adapts to each person's unique playstyle. And that makes every decision feel more meaningful. The same philosophy seems to extend far beyond NPC conversations. Rockstar's patent also references a system capable of tracking connected events across the entire world rather than treating every incident as an isolated moment. Imagine you steal several expensive cars from the same district over multiple days. Older GTA games would simply reset once you escaped, but a persistent world could notice a pattern. Police patrols might increase, residents could become more cautious, security cameras might appear in areas you've repeatedly targeted, businesses may close earlier, news reports could reference recent crime waves. None of these reactions need to be scripted for a single mission. Instead, they're natural consequences created by systems that remember your actions over time. That's the difference between a game reacting to a single event and a world responding to your history. Another interesting idea is how information spreads. Not every NPC should know everything. Someone who witnessed your crime firsthand would remember far more than someone living across the state. Rockstar's system appears to account for exactly that. Information can exist at different levels. Some characters know the full story, others only hear rumors, many know nothing at all. That creates something incredibly important for immersion, believability. Real societies don't share information perfectly. Stories change, rumors spread, details get exaggerated. Different people remember the same event in different ways. If GTA 6 simulates even part of that process, every city block could feel far more alive than anything we've seen before. This also explains why Rockstar spent so many years developing GTA 6. Most people assume the extra development time went entirely into graphics. Graphics certainly improved, but graphics alone don't require over a decade of development. Building interconnected systems that constantly monitor player behavior, store meaningful events, decide which ones matter, determine who remembers them, and then generate believable reactions across an enormous open world, that's an entirely different challenge. You're no longer building missions, you're building a world that behaves more like a living simulation, and that's exponentially more difficult. There's another reason this matters. If Rockstar succeeds, the impact won't stop with GTA 6. Every major open-world developer will be forced to rethink how their games are built. For years, better graphics have been the easiest way to market new games. But players adapt to graphics quickly. Systems are different. A world that genuinely reacts to your choices creates stories that no scripted mission can replicate. Imagine two friends comparing their playthroughs. Not because they chose different dialogue options, but because the world itself evolved differently around each of them. One player becomes feared across Leonida, another quietly builds trust with local communities. A third creates complete chaos, permanently changing how different neighborhoods respond. The map remains the same, the experience doesn't. That's the kind of replay value developers have chased for decades. Of course, it's important to stay realistic. Much of this analysis comes from Rockstar patents, leaked development footage, and technical evidence rather than official feature confirmations. Game development changes constantly. Some systems evolve, others are simplified, and some never make it into the final release. Until Rockstar officially demonstrates these mechanics, we can't say with absolute certainty how deep they'll actually go. But even if only part of this technology appears in the final game, it represents one of the most ambitious attempts ever made to close the gap between player freedom and world simulation. For more than 20 years, GTA has delivered incredible freedom inside worlds that eventually forgot what you did. GTA 6 appears ready to change that. Instead of treating every crime as a temporary event, it could transform every decision into part of your character's history. The world remembers. NPCs react, conversations change, reputation grows naturally, and every player's story becomes genuinely unique. If Rockstar delivers on even half of that vision, GTA 6 won't simply have a bigger map or better graphics. It may become the first Grand Theft Auto where the world remembers who you are long after you've put the controller down. That's a far bigger innovation than higher resolution textures or ray tracing. It's the difference between playing inside a game and living inside a world.